You wake before the light, and a small bitter taste sits at the back of your tongue, the same one that has been there for a few weeks now. You drink your water. It does not move. Your hand presses gently against your right side, just under the rib, the way you have started doing without thinking. Something there feels tired. This is the question your body is asking each morning. If you want to understand why the mornings have grown heavy, why food sits longer than it used to, why the skin has lost its quiet glow, do not look to your diet and do not look to the gym. Look instead to one small cup of warm liquid taken in the quiet before the day begins. Come and sit with me, my dear. The kettle is already on, and the persimmons are drying on the porch. What I'm about to share could change the next 10 or 15 years for you, and for the husband across the table, the daughter who calls on Sundays, the grandchildren who still want their grandmother to walk them to the train station without stopping to rest on the bench. Most doctors will not tell you about this drink. There is no pill bottle to prescribe, the 15-minute appointment leaves no room for it, and no modern guideline lists it among its protocols. It is older than the guidelines, older than the white coats, and it can pull heaviness out of the liver while you sleep gently in one quiet night. My name is Aiko Tanaka. For more than 60 years, in our small village of Ohara outside Kyoto, I have cared for the women who climb the hill to my kitchen. Some come for kampo. Some come for the fermented foods my grandmother taught me to make, the way her mother taught her and her mother before. My kitchen is the clinic, a low table, a kettle, and the wooden spoons that have stirred miso in this house for more than 100 years. The old grandmothers of our village had a teaching, my dear. They said all sickness begins in the hara, the belly. The belly is the second heart. It is the seat of long life. When the belly is tended, the liver follows, the kidneys follow, the skin and the breath follow. The young scientists in their white coats are only beginning to write down what we have watched for 7 generations. The belly governs immunity, inflammation, the hormones that ride the day, and the sleep of the night. My great-grandmother lived to 94. Her mother before her to 89. Their hands were never still, and their livers never gave them trouble in the way I see now in women who come to me from the cities. In Ohara, we have an old saying, the body that drinks bitter and warm in the morning will outlive the body that drinks sweet and cold. For 5 generations of women in my own family, the day has begun the same way. The same small ceramic cup, the same warm bitterness before the household stirs. We have not had liver illness in our line that I can remember. Some researchers came to the valley a few years ago with their notebooks. They left looking puzzled. The women of our village only smiled and poured them more tea. There are 3 small ingredients that go into this drink. 3. Most who try it on their own forget the third one entirely. 9 out of 10 get the order wrong. They mix it the way they would mix a tea, cold and quick, and then they wonder why nothing changes. The order matters. Each spoonful builds on the last, the way layers of an old cedar wall hold the house. Stay with me until the very end. The detail that makes the whole thing work is the smallest one, the one nobody writes down. Before we go further, my daughter, leave a comment with your age and tell me one thing. When you wake, where do you first feel the heaviness? In the eyes? The right side under the rib? The legs? I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers shape the videos I make for you next. In this video, I am going to show you why your liver feels tired in the mornings, even when you sleep 8 hours. I am going to share the small drink my mother stirred at 4 in the morning before the rooster called, and why one of its 3 ingredients does something the other 2 cannot do alone. I will show you exactly how to prepare it in your own kitchen, the order, the temperature, the timing, and I will give you 4 small habits that walk beside this drink, the way an old friend walks beside you on a path. The most important of these, the one that seems too simple to matter, is the one that holds everything else together. We will end there. And before I begin, my dear, may I ask you one small kindness? Many of the women who write to me each week tell me they thought they were already subscribed and only later found out they were not. If you are not yet, the small bell takes only a moment, and it helps me reach more grandmothers and grandfathers who are trying to keep their bodies their own. Let me tell you what is really happening when you wake heavy. Your liver does most of its quiet work between 2 and 4 in the morning. While you sleep, it is sorting. It pulls apart what is finished from what is still useful and pushes the waste through the bile into the gut and out through the bowel by the time you rise. After the age of 50, 2 things change. The liver makes less bile, and the bile that it does make sits thicker, slower. It does not flush as it once did. The waste meant to leave the body in the night is still circulating when you open your eyes. That is the heaviness under the right rib, the bitterness on the tongue, the cloud behind the eyes. A body after 50 asks for a different kind of help. Something small and warm and older than any pill bottle. A morning ritual that has lived in the simple corners of our kitchens for as long as anyone can remember. This drink is called ume-sho-kuzu in our old kitchens. There are 3 ingredients: a pickled plum, a few drops of aged shoyu, and a spoonful of kuzu root powder stirred into cool water first, then cooked into hot water until it turns clear like a small cloud lifting from the cup. Each one does something the others cannot. The umeboshi carries citric acid and polyphenols. In simple words, it gently wakes the small green organ beside the liver and asks it to release the bile it has been holding all night. Picture an old well pump that has not been touched since yesterday morning. The umeboshi is the first slow pull on the handle. The aged shoyu carries melanoidins, the dark amber compounds that form when soybeans ferment slowly for 2 years or more. They bind to heavy waste in the gut so it cannot turn around and slip back into the bloodstream, the way smoke can turn back into a cold room. The kuzu root carries isoflavones. The one that matters most is called puerperin. The kuzu reaches into the lining of the small intestine and soothes it, the way a soft mat is laid on a cold stone floor before someone kneels. After 50, that lining grows thinner and waste slips through where it should not. The kuzu repairs the wall gently each night. Here in our valley, women have done this for generations, and I have not seen liver illness in our line. The researchers came once with their notebooks. They measured what they could measure in the bodies of our oldest women. They went home puzzled. This is how you make it, my daughter. The order matters more than you might think. Take 1 real umeboshi plum, dark and wrinkled like a small fist, soft when pressed. The bright pink ones in plastic packets are dyed and chemically salted. They will not work. The true plums come in small wooden boxes or glass jars and smell of brine and thyme. Place the plum in a small ceramic cup. Mash it gently with the back of a spoon until the meat opens around the seed. Add half a teaspoon of kuzu root powder. Real kuzu is white and chalky and breaks softly between your fingers. Look for the chalky white, the soft break, the faint earthy smell. Add 2 tablespoons of cool water and stir until the kuzu dissolves. This is the step most people skip. They drop the kuzu into hot water and it turns to little stones. Cool water first, always. Then pour in 8 ounces of hot water around 175 degrees. Stir until the cup turns from milky to clear. That is when the kuzu is cooked. Last, add 1 teaspoon of aged shoyu, 2 years or more if you can find it. Stir once. Drink it slowly before any food, before any other water, before any tea. Take 10 or 15 minutes sitting at a table. The cup is finished slowly the way old prayers are spoken. Do this every night before bed for 14 nights. After the 2nd night, the bowel moves differently in the morning. After the 7th, the heaviness under the right rib softens. By the 14th, the eyes are clearer. Dorothy from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, came to me through her granddaughter at 67. She had taught 2nd grade for 38 years. Her doctor told her the fatigue and morning bitterness were simply aging. What was overlooked was a sluggish gallbladder and bile that had grown thick. She took the ume-sho-kuzu every night for 90 days. By the 3rd week, her morning energy returned to what she remembered from her 40s. By the 8th week, her fasting liver enzymes had come down by 26%. She wrote to me with 1 line. Aiko, I have my mornings back. A small word of care. If you take blood thinners or any medication for blood pressure or for the heart, please speak with your doctor before adding kuzu to your evenings. The plant has its own quiet wisdom and may deepen the work of these medicines. And here is something the old grandmothers knew without writing it down. After 60, the body loses up to 70% of its protective gut bacteria. A bottle of probiotics alone will not bring them back. They need prebiotic fiber to feed them, and they need postbiotics, the small healing compounds the bacteria themselves produce. Think of a young garden. Seed without soil, soil without rain. None of them give anything alone. The seed, the soil, and the rain must move together, or the garden stays bare. The first habit is a small piece of grated daikon at 4 in the afternoon, just 1 tablespoon. The white radish carries enzymes that finish the work the morning drink began. It loosens what the liver could not move on its own. In our village, the women keep a small dish of grated daikon on the counter, and they take a spoonful between the lunch dishes and the evening meal. The afternoon bloating eases within a week. The second habit is a slow walk, 10 or 15 minutes after the morning drink before any food. Walk gently, the way you walk through your own garden in early light. The bile that has begun to move needs motion to continue. The muscles of the belly act as a quiet hand, helping the liver finish what it began in the night. Do not rush. Walk the way a plum stirs slowly in warm water. The third habit is a warm compress. Once a week, soak a small soft cloth in hot ginger water, wring it out, and place it over the right side under the rib for 15 minutes before bed. Cover it with a dry towel. The warmth and the ginger together tell the liver it is safe to relax, and a tense liver does not flush. In our valley, the women have done this for the cold months, and we never see hardened livers in old age. Let me pause for a moment. The women who write to me ask the same question. Ayiko, my hands shake some mornings. What else holds the belly steady when I cannot stand at the stove? Everything we have spoken of today traces back to the same place. The hara, the belly. What I keep in my own kitchen now is BoochBod, a small berry gummy, not a pill, because seniors do not always swallow capsules well. It carries the three pieces our old kitchens insisted on: prebiotic fiber, two clinically studied strains called lactospore and postbiotics LM1004, and the postbiotics, the actual healing compounds. It also holds dandelion root and slippery elm, the kitchen plants gathered on the mountain paths around our village. Over 30,000 people take it daily. The link sits in the description below. Please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. Now I want to tell you the smallest thing. The thing nobody writes down. The thing that turned my own mother's evenings around in her 72nd year, when the Kyoto doctor had given her a list of pharmaceuticals as long as her forearm. When you drink the ume-sho-kuzu, do not drink it the way you drink water. Do not drink it with the television speaking in the next room. Sit at a table. Place your right hand, palm warm and soft, against your right side just under the rib, where the liver lives. Take 3 slow breaths before the first sip. Let the warmth of the cup meet the warmth of your hand through your skin, then sip. First sip, then a breath. Next sip, then a breath. 12 to 15 minutes from first to last. The reason is this, my daughter. The bile duct opens fully only when the body believes it is safe. The nervous system controls this. If you stand, if you rush, if the television speaks, the duct stays half closed. The drink does some of its work, but only a fraction. With the hand on the side and the breath slow, the duct opens completely. The drink does many times the work. Researchers from Kobe University Hospital studied this in 2019 with 540 older adults across an 18-month observation. They found a 43% increase in bile clearance when patients sat quietly and breathed for 10 minutes before the morning bitter. The old monks would have only smiled. They had been teaching this in the temples for 1,000 years before any laboratory was built. Eleanor from Bozeman, Montana, who had spent 40 years working at the town library, came to me through her daughter at 74. She had taken the morning drink for 3 months but felt only small changes. What was overlooked was simple. I asked about her mornings. She told me she drank it standing at the sink, putting away the night's dishes. We changed only one thing. She sat down. She placed her hand on her side, and she breathed 3 slow breaths before the first sip. Within 9 days, her mornings had turned. By 6 weeks, her fasting liver enzymes had dropped another 19% below where she had been at month 3. She wrote to me, Ayiko, my eyes are bright again like a girl's. The drink had not changed. Only the way she took it changed. This is the master detail. The breath in the hand. Do not skip it. After 60 years of watching what actually works in our village, let me share 3 small things most people never learn. First, do the drink for 14 consecutive nights, then rest for 2 nights, then resume. The body relaxes more deeply when there is rhythm of work and rest, and the bile system follows. Second, pair the morning drink with a single warm umeboshi at 4 in the afternoon when the liver meridian opens for its second short cycle. Most who do only the morning miss this afternoon's support. Third, the kuzu must dissolve completely. If you see one small white grain on the spoon, the drink will do half its work or less. Stir until the cup is the color of clear morning sun on cedar. There are 3 mistakes I see again and again from women who try this on their own. The first is using the bright pink umeboshi from the supermarket. Those plums are dyed and sweetened, and the chemistry that supports the liver is no longer present. Use only the dark wrinkled plums sold in glass. The second is dropping the kuzu directly into hot water. The kuzu seizes into hard little stones the moment heat hits it dry. Always cool water first, stir, then add the heat. The third is rushing, standing at the counter and finishing the cup in 2 minutes while you check the kettle for the breakfast tea. The drink needs the slow breath beside it. Without that, you have flavored water. Let me bring this close to the heart, my dear. What you are tending in that small ceramic cup before the day begins is more than the liver. It is the body that walks down the steps to gather the mail without holding the rail. It is the hand that still kneels beside the grandchild and ties the shoe in 3 even loops. The body remembers how to heal. At 70, at 75, at 80, the cells of the liver renew themselves every 5 months, faster than almost any other organ in the body. They are waiting for the warm water, the slow breath, the quiet morning. It is never too late. You are not a passenger in this body. You are the driver who has been here the whole time, and the road ahead can still be long and clear and full of mornings where you wake light with eyes bright like a girl's and walk down to the kitchen to put the kettle on for someone you love. Let me lock this in for you. 1. The drink. Mashed umeboshi, half a teaspoon of dissolved kuzu, 8 ounces of warm water at 175 degrees, 1 teaspoon of aged shoyu. Every night for 14 nights. 2. The afternoon daikon. 1 tablespoon of grated white radish at 4 between meals to finish what the drink began. 3. The morning walk. 10 to 15 slow minutes after the drink, before any food. 4. The weekly ginger compress. A warm cloth on the right side under the rib, 15 minutes once a week. 5. The breath in the hand. Sit, place your warm right palm under your right rib, 3 slow breaths before the first sip. This is the master detail. Before you go, my dear, 3 small things. If this video helped you, send it to one person. Your husband, your oldest friend, the woman from the church group whose mornings have grown heavy. They are looking for this and do not know how to find it. Subscribe so the next video reaches you. And in the comments, tell me which of the 5 you will start tonight or which one surprised you most. I read every single comment on this channel, and your words shape what I make next. Whenever you are ready, the BoochBod link from earlier is waiting for you in the description. Now go and put the kettle on. I will be here next time with the persimmons drying on the porch and another small thing my grandmother taught me long ago.